The billionaire mocked the street girl. "Sing this Mozart and I'll adopt you." But when she opened her mouth, her angelic voice was so extraordinary that everyone froze in complete disbelief. Before we dive into the story, drop a comment below and tell us where you're watching from. Enjoy the story! The autumn wind swept through Fifth Avenue in Manhattan as Alexander Sterling stepped out of Sterling Technologies. At 32, the billionaire had everything, except time to notice the world around him. Then he heard the voice, pure, crystalline, impossible to ignore. Alexander turned and saw her, a little girl, no more than 8, standing beside a cardboard box, her worn but clean clothes, her dark hair in a simple ponytail. She was singing Amazing Grace, and the crowd actually stopped to listen. "Sir, the board meeting," his assistant Marcus began. "Wait," Alexander commanded. As applause filled the street, he walked toward her, watching people drop bills into her coffee can. Up close, he saw the weariness in her young eyes, eyes that had seen too much. "You've got quite a voice," he said, crouching down. "I'm Alexander." "Thank you, sir. I'm Lily." A mischievous thought struck him. "Tell me, Lily, can you sing anything?" She nodded. "Church songs mostly, some classics my mama taught me." Pain flickered across her face at the mention of her mother. "How about opera?" he challenged. "Mozart? The Queen of the Night aria from the Magic Flute?" Marcus gasped. The pedestrians looked shocked. It was one of the most notoriously difficult pieces in all opera, superhuman vocal control required. Lily's eyes widened, then filled with determination. "I know it. My mama was a singer before." "Tell you what," Alexander said, the words tumbling out before he could stop them. "Sing that perfectly, and I'll adopt you. I'll give you a home." Marcus looked horrified. Phones appeared everywhere. Lily looked up at this strange, wealthy man, and Alexander saw something ancient in her young face. Survival. Desperate hope. "Okay," she whispered. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and opened her mouth. The first note soared, impossibly high, impossibly pure. Alexander Sterling, who had brokered billion-dollar deals without flinching, felt his knees go weak. This was transcendent. The German words flowed like liquid fire, each impossible run executed with master precision. The high F above high C rang out clear as a bell across Fifth Avenue. The crowd grew, 30, 40, 50 people deep. A businessman stood with tears streaming. Marcus had his hand over his mouth. Alexander felt something crack open inside him. When the final note faded, absolute silence. Then the street erupted. Applause, cheers, whistles. Money rained into her can. 20s, 50s, hundreds. But Lily was looking at Alexander, waiting. "How is that even possible?" he breathed. "I practice every day. I have to." "Have to? Why?" Lily glanced at her watch, a broken pink plastic thing frozen at 3:47. "I need to get home. They'll be hungry and scared if I'm late." "They?" Alexander caught the word. "Who's they?" Lily was already gathering her can, movements practiced and efficient. "Wait. I made you a promise." Hope flashed across her face. "I keep my promises, but first tell me, who are you singing for?" She bit her lip, calculating, trust or flee. Finally, she whispered, "My brother and sister, the twins, Emma and Noah. They're 4. They're all I have left." The words hit Alexander like a physical blow. "Get the car," he ordered Marcus. "Call Patricia in legal. Clear her afternoon." He looked at Lily. "Take me to them. Then we'll talk about that promise." As they walked toward his limousine, Alexander had no idea this impulsive decision would unravel everything he thought he knew about himself, about family, about the walls around his heart. In Lily's hand, the broken watch remained frozen at 3:47, the exact time 3 years ago when her world shattered. Right now, she had to get home to the twins, and Alexander Sterling had just made a promise he couldn't break. The limousine pulled up to a crumbling brownstone in the Bronx. Alexander stared at the building, its windows cracked, graffiti scarring the walls. This was where she lived. 4th floor, Lily said quietly. The elevator's broken. They climbed the stairs, Marcus trailing behind with growing concern. The hallway smelled of mildew and something burnt. Lily stopped at apartment 4C and pulled a key from inside her shoe. "Emma? Noah?" "It's me," she called softly as she opened the door. 2 small figures rushed from behind a threadbare couch. Identical faces, round cheeks, brown eyes wide with relief. They crashed into Lily, wrapping tiny arms around her legs. "Lily, Lily, we were scared!" The little boy cried. "I'm here, Noah. It's okay." She knelt, hugging them both. "Emma, baby, are you hungry?" Alexander stepped inside and his heart dropped. The apartment was barely 15 feet square. A hot plate on a card table. 3 sleeping bags on the floor. Children's drawings taped to peeling wallpaper, the only decoration. No heat. No food in sight except a half loaf of bread. "How long have you been living like this?" he asked, his voice tight. Lily stood, positioning herself between him and the twins. 3 years, since the accident." "What accident?" Her jaw set. "The fire. Our apartment building. Our parents didn't make it out." The twins clutched her shirt, and Alexander saw Emma shivering, not from fear, from cold. "I was 5, Lily continued. "They were 1. Social services came, but they wanted to split us up. Different foster homes. I ran. I've been taking care of them ever since." "You were 5 years old," Alexander repeated, unable to process it. "You've been surviving alone for 3 years." "Not alone. I have them." She touched the twins' heads. "I sing. I make enough for rent and food. Mostly." Marcus whispered urgently, "Sir, we need to call—" "No!" Lily stepped forward, panic in her eyes. "No social services, no police. They'll separate us. They always do." Alexander crouched to the twins' level. "Hi there. I'm Alexander. Your sister is extraordinarily brave." Emma peeked from behind Lily. "Are you the man from the TV?" "TV?" He glanced at Lily. "The news. Sterling Technologies. They showed your building once." Lily's cheeks colored. "I told them stories about the rich prince in the glass tower." Something twisted in Alexander's chest. "Well, this prince just made your sister a promise, and I keep my promises." Noah stepped forward, bold despite his size. "Are you going to take Lily away?" "No, buddy. I'm going to take all 3 of you, together, if Lily agrees." Lily's eyes filled with tears. "You mean it? All of us? All of you?" "Starting tonight." Alexander stood, already making mental lists. "Marcus, call Dr. Henderson. I want all 3 children examined tomorrow. Call Patricia, emergency petition for temporary guardianship, and call the house. Tell Mrs. Chen to prepare the entire East Wing. Sir, the legal complications—" "I don't care. Look at them, Marcus. Look at this place." Alexander's voice cracked. "These children have been living like this for 3 years, not one more night." Lily was crying now, silent tears streaming. Emma and Noah clung to her, not understanding, but sensing something monumental was happening. "There's one condition," Alexander said gently. "You have to trust me. Let me do this the right way. Legal, safe, so no one can ever take you away from each other again." Lily wiped her eyes. "Why? Why do you care?" Alexander looked at this 8-year-old girl who had raised 2 toddlers alone, who sang Mozart on street corners to buy bread, who had more courage in her little finger than he'd ever had. "Because someone should have cared 3 years ago," he said. "Because you deserve better. Because when I heard you sing, I heard something I'd forgotten existed." "What?" "Hope. The twins were gathering their few possessions, stuffed animals, drawings, a photo album. Lily picked up a violin case from the corner, its leather worn smooth. "My mother's," she said, noticing his look. "I'm teaching myself, for when I'm big enough to play on the street too." Alexander made a decision that surprised even himself. "You'll never play on the street again, Lily, but you'll play, I promise you that too." As they left the apartment, Lily carrying Noah while Marcus carried Emma, Alexander took one last look at the space these children had called home. On the wall, one drawing stood out, 3 stick figures holding hands under a yellow sun. Above it, in careful child's writing, "Family Forever." He photographed it with his phone. Then he closed the door on that chapter of their lives. The hard part, he knew, was just beginning, but Alexander Sterling had never walked away from a challenge. And these 3 children, they were worth fighting for. The Sterling mansion in Greenwich, Connecticut, loomed before them like something from a dream. 20,000 square feet of marble, glass, and privilege. The twins pressed their faces against the limousine window, mouths open. "Is this heaven?" Emma whispered. "No, sweetheart," Alexander said gently. "It's home. Your home now." Mrs. Chen, his housekeeper of 15 years, met them at the door. Her stern expression softened when she saw the children. "The rooms are ready, Mr. Sterling." The east wing had been transformed, 3 bedrooms connected by a playroom, new beds with stuffed animals, dressers full of clothes in the right sizes. Marcus had guessed well, toys, books, even a child-sized piano. Lily stood frozen in the doorway. "This is too much. We can't." "You can. You will." Alexander guided her inside. "The bathroom is through there. Hot water, real towels. Mrs. Chen will bring dinner." Emma and Noah were already exploring, their delighted squeals echoing through the halls. But Lily remained rigid, overwhelmed. "I don't understand," she said. "Why are you doing this?" Alexander sat on the edge of one bed. "Honestly, I'm not entirely sure, but I made a promise, and—" He paused, searching for truth. "I built an empire, Lily. I have more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. But I've been empty for years. Then I heard you sing, and for the first time in a decade I felt something. Like maybe there's more to life than quarterly earnings and stock prices. So we're a charity project." "No! You're a reminder that I'm still human." The next morning brought reality crashing down. Patricia Morrison, Alexander's lawyer, arrived with a mountain of paperwork and worse news. "The state of New York has a problem, Alexander. You're a 32-year-old single man with no childcare experience, seeking to adopt 3 children who've been living off the grid. Social services is red flagging everything." They sat in his study, mahogany panels, law books, the smell of old money and older secrets. "I don't care about red flags. Get it done. It's not that simple. There's an investigation pending. Child Protective Services wants interviews, home studies, psychological evaluations. And—" Patricia hesitated. "There's something else. I ran a background check on the children. Their parents' death wasn't an accident." Alexander's blood ran cold. "What?" "The fire was ruled arson. Someone deliberately set it." The case went cold. No suspects, no motive. But Lily's parents, Michael and Victoria Chen, they were complicated. Complicated how? Victoria Chen was a professional opera singer, rising star by all accounts. Then she married Michael, dropped off the radar completely, stopped performing, stopped recording. The opera world was shocked. Some said she was blacklisted, others claimed she ran from something. Alexander's mind raced. And Lily doesn't know? She was 5. They probably shielded her. Patricia pulled out photos. But here's the real problem. Michael Chen had gambling debts, serious ones, $200,000 to some very dangerous people. The fire happened 3 weeks after his final payment was due. You're saying they were murdered? I'm saying the police suspected it, but they couldn't prove it. The case is still open, technically. And if CPS discovers 3 orphaned children have been living alone for 3 years because they fled the system, she let the implication hang. They'll separate them. Immediately. Foster care, possibly different homes. Lily's age group is hardest to place. The twins might get adopted, but no. Alexander stood, pacing. That's not happening. Alexander, I'm on your side. But you need to understand what you're up against. The system doesn't care that you're a billionaire. In fact, they'll scrutinize you more. Single male, no family, workaholic lifestyle. Then what do I do? Patricia studied him. You fight, but carefully. We file for emergency temporary guardianship today. We get ahead of the narrative. Home studies, character references, the works. We show them you're serious. We make this about what's best for the children, not your ego. It's not my ego. I know, but they won't believe that. Not at first. She softened. I've been your lawyer for 8 years, Alexander. I've never seen you care about anything except business. These kids, they've changed something in you. Hold on to that, you'll need it. A knock interrupted them. Lily stood in the doorway, Noah and Emma flanking her. She'd been listening. They're going to take us away, aren't they? Her voice was steady, but her hands trembled. Alexander crossed to her. Not if I can help it. You don't know what they're like. The system. We're just numbers to them. Then we'll change their minds. He knelt to her level. Lily, I need you to trust me. Can you do that? She searched his face, this strange man who'd promised everything. Finally, she nodded. Good, because next week we have our first court hearing, and we're going to show them exactly what family means. But as Patricia gathered her papers and the children returned to exploring their new home, Alexander couldn't shake one thought. Someone had murdered their parents, and whoever it was might still be out there. The first week was chaos. Emma refused to sleep without every light on. Noah had nightmares, crying out for their mother. And Lily watched Alexander constantly, waiting for the moment he'd realize his mistake. Mrs. Chen proved invaluable. She'd raised 5 children of her own and approached the twins with practical warmth. She taught them to use the fancy shower, to navigate the mansion's maze of hallways, to sit at the enormous dining table without fear. But adapting wasn't easy. I don't like this food, Noah announced at dinner, staring at Mrs. Chen's carefully prepared salmon. Noah, don't be rude, Lily hissed. Alexander set down his fork. What do you like, Noah? Mac and cheese from the box. Lily makes it. Then tomorrow, we'll have mac and cheese from the box. He glanced at Mrs. Chen, who looked offended but nodded. Deal? Noah's face lit up. Really? Really? But try one bite of the salmon. If you hate it, you don't have to finish. It was a small victory, but the first of many needed. The bigger challenge was Lily herself. She woke at dawn, instinctively heading to where her cardboard box should be. She rationed food, hiding pieces in her pockets. She checked and rechecked that Emma and Noah were still there, still safe. You don't have to do that anymore, Alexander said gently one morning, finding her in the twins' room at 3 a.m. Do what? Keep watch. They're safe here. You're safe here. Safe is temporary. She looked at him with those 2 old eyes. Everything is temporary. Not this. I promised. People break promises. Parents die. Buildings burn. Her voice cracked. You don't understand. I can't lose them. They're all I have. Alexander sat beside her on the floor. Tell me about your parents. She was quiet so long he thought she wouldn't answer. Then, my mother was beautiful. She sang like an angel. Everyone said so. She'd sing to us every night, anything we wanted. Opera, lullabies, even silly songs. And your father? He was funny, always joking, always smiling. He called me his little songbird. Tears slipped down her cheeks. The night of the fire, I was at a friend's house, a sleepover, my first one. Mum said I deserved a normal kid experience when I came home the next morning. She couldn't continue. Alexander put his arm around her and she collapsed against him, finally letting herself cry. Real gasping sobs that shook her small frame. "I'm scared," she whispered. "I'm so scared all the time." "I know, but you don't have to be scared alone anymore." The next morning brought new crisis. Emma woke up burning with fever. 103 degrees. She couldn't stop coughing, couldn't catch her breath. "How long has she been sick?" "Doctor," Henderson demanded, examining her in the mansion's guest room they'd converted to a medical suite. "I don't know," Lily cried. "She coughs sometimes, but—" "Sometimes?" The doctor looked grim. "This is pneumonia. Possibly walking pneumonia she's had for weeks, maybe months." Alexander felt rage build. Why didn't anyone notice? "Sir, these children have had no medical care. Look," he showed them Emma's file. "Malnutrition, untreated cavities. Noah has an ear infection he's probably been living with for 6 months. And Lily. What about Lily? She's borderline anemic, probably from giving most of her food to her siblings." Dr. Henderson closed his bag. "These children are survivors, Mr. Sterling, but they've been surviving in crisis mode. Emma needs antibiotics immediately, possibly hospitalization." "No hospital," Lily said firmly. "They'll call CPS." "Lily, no, I won't lose them." Alexander took her hand. "Dr. Henderson is on my private staff. He won't call anyone. Right, doctor?" The old physician nodded slowly. "I can treat her here, but she needs round-the-clock monitoring for 48 hours. Then we monitor her. All of us." That night, they took shifts. Mrs. Chen, Marcus, Alexander, even Lily, though Alexander made her rest too. Emma lay in the big bed, looking tiny and fragile, an IV in her small arm. Around 2 a.m., Alexander sat alone with her. She stirred, eyes fluttering open. "Am I dying?" she whispered. "No, sweetheart, you're getting better. My mommy died, and Daddy." "I know, but you're not going anywhere, I promise." "Lily says you're a good man, are you?" Alexander swallowed hard. "I'm trying to be." Emma reached for his hand with her free one. "Don't leave us. Please don't leave us like they did." And in that moment, Alexander Sterling's carefully constructed walls crumbled completely. "Never," he promised. "I will never leave you." By dawn, Emma's fever had broken. But something else had broken too. Alexander's last resistance to loving these children, and that terrified him more than any boardroom battle ever had. Because now, he had everything to lose. Emma recovered slowly, but the scare had changed everything. Alexander cancelled meetings, delegated projects, and for the first time in his career, put something ahead of business: the children. Dr. Henderson prescribed not just medication, but normalcy. They need structure, security, routine. These kids have been in survival mode. They need to learn to be children again. So Alexander created routine. Breakfast at 8, educational activities. He hired tutors who came to the house, lunch at noon, playtime in the afternoon, dinner as a family at 6, then bedtime stories, which became his favorite part of the day. Noah loved adventure tales. Emma wanted fairy tales with happy endings, but Lily always asked for the same thing: "Tell me about her." About my mother. Alexander had been researching. What he'd found both amazed and troubled him. "Your mother was Victoria Chen, born Victoria Lin. She grew up in San Francisco, daughter of immigrants, started singing at 5. By 20, she was performing at the Met." Lily's eyes shone. "Really? The Metropolitan Opera? Really?" She was being compared to the greats. Then, at 24, she met your father. They married within 6 months. She was supposed to debut in La Bohème that fall. What happened? She cancelled, retired from opera entirely. The music world was shocked. Some said your father made her quit. Others claimed she was running from something. There were rumors of a scandal, but nothing concrete. Lily was quiet, processing. She never talked about it. She just sang to us, all the time, every moment she could. Like she was making up for lost time, Alexander said softly. Maybe. Lily pulled out the photo album she'd brought from the apartment. Faded pictures of a beautiful Asian woman with kind eyes, a tall man with a warm smile, a tiny Lily between them. She used to say she had everything she needed, that we were her greatest performance. She sounds wonderful. She was. Until, Lily's voice caught, the last few months before the fire, she was scared. I didn't understand then, but I remember. She'd check the locks constantly, made us practice fire drills, told me if anything happened, I had to keep Emma and Noah safe, no matter what. Alexander's investigative instincts flared. Did she say what she was afraid of? No. But one night I heard her fighting with my father. She said, "They found us, Michael. After all these years, they found us." Lily looked up at him. Who found them? Before Alexander could answer, Marcus knocked urgently. "Sir, we have a problem." In the study, Patricia waited with a stranger, a woman in her 50s, sharp-eyed and official-looking. "Mr. Sterling, this is Detective Sarah Martinez, NYPD Cold Case Unit." Alexander's stomach dropped. "Detective, Mr. Sterling, I understand you're seeking to adopt 3 children, Lily, Emma, and Noah Chen. That's correct. Then you should know their parents' deaths are still an active investigation, and new evidence has surfaced." "What evidence?" Martinez pulled out a file. Victoria Chen wasn't her real name. She was in witness protection. She testified against the Moretti crime family 12 years ago. They'd been laundering money through the opera company where she worked. Her testimony put 5 men in prison, the fire that killed her and her husband. "We believe it was retaliation." The room spun. "Witness protection, then she should have been safe." She should have been, but she broke protocol. She married Michael Chen without telling her handlers, had children, disappeared from the program entirely. We lost track of her, and eventually so did the Morettis, until 6 months before the fire. What happened 6 months before? Martinez's expression darkened. One of the men she testified against was released early, Marco Moretti. Within a week, he'd hired a private investigator. It took him 5 months, but he found them. And then the building burned. Michael and Victoria Chen died. And 3 children disappeared into the system, except they never entered it, because a very brave little 5-year-old girl ran with her siblings and kept them hidden for 3 years. Everyone looked at Lily, who stood in the doorway. She'd heard everything. "They killed my parents," she said flatly, "because my mother told the truth." "Yes," Martinez confirmed gently. "And now, is this Marco Moretti still out there?" "He was arrested 2 years ago. Different charges. He's back in prison, but—" Martinez hesitated. "There's something else. Marco had a younger brother, Vincent Moretti. He's still out there. And according to our sources, he made a vow to finish what Marco started." "He wants to kill us," Lily stated. "We don't know that for certain." "Yes, you do. That's why you're here. To warn us." Alexander pulled Lily close. "No one is touching these children. Mr. Sterling, with respect, you're a civilian. If Vincent Moretti targets them, then he goes through me first." Alexander's voice was ice. "Detective, I have resources, security, I can protect them." "I'm sure you can. But I need to know, are you prepared for what that means? 24-hour protection, constant vigilance. These children will need to be careful for years. Maybe their whole lives." Alexander looked at Lily, at her brave, frightened face, at Emma and Noah peeking from behind her. "Yes," he said simply, "I'm prepared. Because somewhere in the last 2 weeks, these children had stopped being a promise to keep. They'd become his family, and Alexander Sterling protected his family, no matter the cost." Alexander couldn't sleep. Martinez's revelations churned in his mind. Victoria Chen in witness protection, the Moretti family, murder disguised as arson. At 3 a.m. he went to his private office and began digging deeper. If he was going to protect these children, he needed to understand everything. Victoria Lynn, born 1985, sang her first solo at age 5 in a San Francisco church. Scholarship to Juilliard at 17, met career at 20. On the verge of superstardom when she testified against the Morettis. Alexander pulled up archives from the Sterling Foundation, his charitable arm that funded arts programs. He searched grants, events, applications from 2009, 2010. And there she was. His hand froze on the mouse. Sterling Foundation Arts Gala, December 2009. Featured performer, Victoria Lynn, soprano. He remembered that night. He'd been 23, recently taking over his father's company. The gala had been tedious, wealthy donors, champagne, forced networking. But there had been one moment that stuck with him, a young woman singing Puccini. Her voice had been extraordinary. He'd actually stopped networking to listen. After her performance, she'd approached him. He could see her in his memory now, nervous, hopeful. "Mr. Sterling, I wanted to thank you for including me tonight. Your foundation's support means everything to emerging artists." He'd been polite but distant, already thinking about the next meeting, the next deal. "You're very talented. Good luck with your career." That was it, a 30-second conversation. Then she'd left, and he'd forgotten about her entirely, until now. Alexander pulled up more records. The gala had been December 12, 2009. The Moretti trial had begun January 15, 2010, 1 month later. His hands shook as he searched news archives. There, a small article from January 8, 2010. Surprise witness in Moretti money laundering trial. Victoria Lynn, soprano scheduled to debut at Metropolitan Opera, comes forward with evidence of organized crimes infiltration of the New York Opera Company. The article included details. Victoria had worked part-time for the opera company's administrative office while building her career. She'd seen financial records, recognized patterns, heard conversations. When the FBI approached her, she'd cooperated fully. Her courage had cost her everything, her career, her identity, eventually her life. And Alexander had met her just weeks before she'd made that devastating choice. He sat back, stunned by the connection. It felt like fate, like some invisible thread had always linked him to these children. His private line rang. Marcus, from the security desk. "Sir, there's a situation." The cameras picked up someone watching the property. "He left when our patrol approached, but—" Marcus paused. "Sir, Detective Martinez just called. They've identified him from our footage. It's Vincent Moretti." Ice flooded Alexander's veins. "Where is he now?" "Unknown. But, sir, he knows where they are." Alexander was already moving, taking the stairs 2 at a time to the east wing. He burst into the children's play area, where his night security guard stood watch. "They're safe, sir," the guard confirmed. "All 3 sleeping. I haven't left my post." Through the open bedroom doors, Alexander could see them. Emma and Noah curled together like puppies, Lily in her own bed, finally trusting enough to sleep deeply. They looked so peaceful, so innocent, and somewhere out there a killer was hunting them. Alexander made a decision. He returned to his office and made 3 phone calls. First, to the best private security firm in the country. Second, to Patricia to expedite every legal document. Third, to Detective Martinez. "Detective, I'm not waiting for the system anymore. I want those adoption papers filed immediately. Emergency petition. Whatever it takes." "Mr. Sterling, we've discussed this. The process can be accelerated. You know it, I know it. I have 3 children whose lives are in danger. I have resources to protect them, but I need legal standing. I need to be their father, not guardian, not foster parent, father." Martinez was quiet. Then, "I'll make some calls. But Alexander, and I'm using your first name because I need you to hear this, being their legal father won't stop Vincent Moretti. No. But it means if he comes for them, he has to go through someone with the resources to fight back, someone who won't stop, won't quit, won't ever let him win. You really love them, don't you?" Alexander looked at the photo on his desk. From last week, the four of them at dinner. Emma had insisted on taking it. They were all laughing at something Noah had said. "Yes," he said simply. "I didn't expect to, but yes." "Then fight hard, because Victoria Chen fought for them once. Now it's your turn." After she hung up, Alexander sat in the dark, thinking about Victoria Lynn, about her courage, her sacrifice, about how she'd given up everything to do the right thing. He thought about that night at the gala. If he'd paid more attention, been more present, maybe he could have helped her then. Maybe things would have been different. But he couldn't change the past. He could only protect the future. As dawn broke over Greenwich, Alexander made a vow, not to some ghost of the past, but to 3 sleeping children upstairs. He would finish what Victoria started. He would keep her children safe, and he would make Vincent Moretti pay for what he'd taken from them. But first, he had to survive the court hearing scheduled for tomorrow. Because if he failed to gain legal custody, social services would take them, and scattered through the foster system, they'd be vulnerable, easy targets. Alexander Sterling had faced down corporate raiders, hostile boards, and billion-dollar lawsuits. But he'd never fought a battle that mattered this much. Tomorrow, everything would change. For better or worse, the family court judge, Honourable Margaret Reynolds, had a reputation for being tough but fair. She'd seen every scheme, every lie, every manipulation in her 30 years on the bench. Alexander sat at the plaintiff's table with Patricia, hyper-aware of Lily, Emma and Noah in the gallery behind him. He'd wanted to spare them this, but Patricia insisted they needed to be present. All rise. Judge Reynolds entered, a woman in her 60s with steel-grey hair and eyes that missed nothing. "Mr. Sterling, you're seeking emergency guardianship and expedited adoption of 3 minor children. That's highly unusual." "Yes, Your Honor. Due to extraordinary circumstances, I've read Detective Martinez's report, the Moretti connection. Very concerning." She looked at the children. "But my job isn't to make emotional decisions. It's to determine what's best for these children, and frankly, I have questions." For the next hour, she grilled him. His work schedule, 80 hours a week. His experience with children, none. His support system, paid staff. His motivation, sudden, impulsive. "Your Honor," Patricia interjected, "Mr. Sterling has already taken significant steps. Medical care for all 3 children, educational assessment and tutoring. He's reduced his work hours by half. He's committed." "Commitment is easy to claim in week 2, Ms. Morrison. What about month 2, year 2, when the novelty wears off and he realizes raising 3 traumatized children is actual work?" The word stung because Alexander had asked himself the same questions. Then the opposition spoke. Jennifer Hartwell from Child Protective Services, professional, cold, armed with statistics. "Your Honor, the children need stability, yes. But Mr. Sterling represents unknown risk. He's never been married, never been in a long-term relationship. His longest personal commitment appears to be to his business. We're recommending the children be placed with experienced foster families while proper assessments are conducted." "Separate families?" Alexander couldn't help himself. "If necessary. The twins are young, highly adoptable. Lily's age makes her more challenging, but—" "No!" Lily's voice rang out from the gallery. Judge Reynolds looked up sharply. "Young lady, Your Honor, may I speak?" Lily stood, small but fierce. "Please." Reynolds studied her. "Approach." Lily walked forward, and Alexander saw what the judge saw, a child carrying the weight of the world. "What's your name?" Lily Chen, Your Honor. I'm 8. I've taken care of my brother and sister for 3 years. I know what's best for them. And what is that? Staying together, always. That's what my mother made me promise. Her last words to me were, keep them safe, keep them together. I've done that. For 3 years, I've done that. By living on the streets. By surviving. By making sure they ate even when I didn't. By singing in the cold until my throat bled because we needed money for rent. By fighting off the bad people who tried to hurt us. By... Her voice cracked. By being strong when I wanted to give up. The courtroom was silent. Mr. Sterling found us. He kept his promise. He gave us a home, food, medicine. He reads to Emma every night because she's afraid of the dark. He plays cards with Noah every morning. He listens to me, really listens, like my voice matters. Tears streamed down her face. Please don't separate us. Please. We've lost so much already. Judge Reynolds removed her glasses, rubbing her eyes. Miss Hartwell? The child is understandably emotional, but the child is extraordinarily brave and articulate. Mr. Sterling, stand. He did, heart pounding. I'm granting temporary guardianship, 60 days. During that time, you'll undergo complete evaluation. Home studies, psychological assessment, parenting classes. Detective Martinez will provide security assessment given the Moretti threat. At the end of 60 days, we reconvene. If I'm satisfied, we proceed with adoption. If not, she looked at the children. We explore other options. But I promise you this, Lily. Whatever happens, you 3 stay together. You have my word. Relief flooded through Alexander. Thank you, Your Honor. Don't thank me yet. You have 60 days to prove you're serious, to prove this isn't some billionaire's whim. These children deserve a father, Mr. Sterling, not a benefactor. Can you be that? Alexander looked at Lily, Emma, Noah, his family. Yes, Your Honor, I can. Outside the courthouse, photographers swarmed. The story had leaked. Billionaire seeks to adopt street singer. Marcus and the security team created a protective circle. But as they rushed to the car, Alexander saw him, a man in a dark jacket, watching from across the street. Their eyes met for just a second. Vincent Moretti smiled, then vanished into the crowd. The 60-day clock had started, but so had something else. The hunter had found his prey. The next morning, Alexander woke to find his mansion surrounded by news vans. The story had exploded overnight. Tech billionaire's secret adoption bid for orphaned opera singers' children. Someone had leaked everything to the press. Stay inside, he ordered, watching Emma's frightened face at the window. Marcus, double the security. No one gets near the house. But the damage was done. By noon, their faces were everywhere. Cable news, social media, newspapers, photos of Lily singing on Fifth Avenue. Videos of the children entering the courthouse, and worst of all, speculation about Victoria Chen and the Moretti connection. Patricia arrived with grim news. Hartwell's office is furious. They think you leaked this for publicity. The judge wants a meeting tomorrow. I didn't leak anything. I know, but someone did. She pulled up her tablet. Alexander, it's worse. Look at these. Social media messages, hundreds of them, most supportive but others. Those kids don't belong with some rich bachelor. He's probably doing this for tax breaks. Why doesn't he adopt American kids? And buried in the comments, something that made Alexander's blood freeze. Pretty children. Would be a shame if something happened to them. Posted from an anonymous account 2 hours ago. Detective Martinez arrived within the hour. We traced the IP address, public library computer in Queens. By the time we got there, he was gone, but we pulled security footage. She showed them the image, Vincent Moretti smiling at the camera. He's taunting us, Alexander said. He's escalating. The publicity puts pressure on him. If he's going to make a move, it'll be soon. Martinez turned to the children. I need you three to understand something. You can't go outside, not even the yard. No windows without curtains, no routines. We change everything, every day. Noah started crying. Emma clutched Lily, and Lily looked tired, so tired. "This is my fault," she whispered. "If I hadn't sung that day, if I'd just stayed hidden." "No." Alexander knelt before her. "This is Vincent Moretti's fault, and your mother's killers, not yours, never yours. But we're putting you in danger. I'm exactly where I want to be." That night, Alexander couldn't sleep. He walked the halls, checking security feeds, watching the perimeter cameras. At 2 a.m., he found Lily in the music room, the one space in the house she'd claimed as hers. She sat at the grand piano, not playing, just touching the keys. "Can't sleep?" he asked. "I keep thinking about my mom, about what she gave up, her whole career, her dreams, for us. She made a choice, a brave one. And look where it got her, dead. Her children hunted." Lily's voice broke. "Maybe I should just turn myself into CPS. Let them hide us somewhere Vincent can't find us." "Split you up, you mean?" "If it keeps Emma and Noah safe." "Lily, look at me." Alexander sat beside her. "Your mother didn't sacrifice everything just so you could sacrifice yourself now. She wanted you to live, all of you, together." "How do you know?" "Because I met her. That night at my gala, 9 years ago. I was young, stupid, focused on all the wrong things. She was nervous, hopeful, kind, and I barely gave her 5 minutes." He swallowed hard. "I can't change that, but I can honor her now, by keeping her children safe, by giving you the life she wanted for you." Lily was quiet for a long moment. Then she played a single note, middle C. "She taught me that first, said every song starts with one note." "One choice. What choice are you making?" "To trust you, to believe this might actually work." She looked at him with those ancient young eyes. "Don't make me regret it." "I won't, I promise." But even as he said it, Alexander felt the weight of that promise, because somewhere out there, Vincent Moretti was planning. And Alexander had no idea when he'd strike, or how to stop him. 3 weeks into their 60-day trial, something shifted. The children started to relax. Not completely. They still startled at loud noises, still checked locks constantly. But small things changed. Emma laughed at breakfast, a real belly laugh when Noah spilled juice on himself. Noah asked Alexander to read him the same story 3 times in a row, then fell asleep in his lap. And Lily started singing again. Not on streets, but in the music room. Practicing, playing, finding her voice after months of survival mode. Alexander hired a vocal coach. Professor Chen, no relation, but the coincidence made Lily smile, came twice a week. "Remarkable," the professor said after Lily's first session. "Natural gift, obviously, but also discipline. Someone taught her well." Her mother. Then her mother was a master. This child could perform professionally if she wanted. But Lily didn't want that. "Not yet. I'm 8, she told Alexander. "I just want to be 8 for a while." So they did ordinary things, baked cookies that turned out terrible, watched movies with too much popcorn, played board games where Noah cheated shamelessly and Emma always won anyway. Mrs. Chen taught them to cook. Marcus showed them his coin collection. The tutors reported all 3 children were brilliant, years behind in formal education, but hungry to learn. The home study evaluator, Dr. Sarah Kim, came weekly. She observed, took notes, asked probing questions. "Why do you want to be a father, Mr. Sterling?" "Because they need one, and I need them." "That's codependent. That's honest." "I've spent 15 years building a company, making money, proving I could succeed, but I've been empty. These kids filled something I didn't know was missing." "And when the threat passes? When life gets boring? When Lily's a moody teenager or the twins are throwing tantrums?" Alexander smiled. "Then I'll handle it, like any parent." You've never done this before. No one has the first time, but I'm committed. I'm all in. Dr. Kim made notes. Alexander couldn't read her expression, but that night, tucking Emma into bed, she asked him, "Are you going to be our forever daddy?" Alexander's throat tightened. "I'm trying my best, sweetheart. I hope you are. Because I love you." 3 words. Simple. Devastating. Perfect. "I love you too, Emma." She smiled and closed her eyes, secure in that love. In the hallway, Lily had heard. She looked at Alexander with tears in her eyes. "She's never said that to anyone but Noah and me. Is that okay?" "Yeah." Lily wiped her eyes. "Yeah, it's okay." That weekend, Alexander did something crazy. Against Marcus's protests, against every security protocol, he took them out. To the zoo. Heavy security disguises a private entrance. But they went. And for 4 hours they were just a family. Looking at elephants, eating ice cream, riding the carousel. Noah roared at the lions. Emma collected facts about penguins. Lily took photos with a camera Alexander had given her. Normal, peaceful, perfect. On the carousel, with Noah on one side and Emma on the other, Alexander caught Lily's eye. She was on her own horse, but close enough to touch. She mouthed 2 words, "Thank you." And Alexander understood. Not thank you for the zoo, thank you for this moment, this life, this chance. But driving home, Marcus got a call. "Sir, there's been an incident at the house." Alexander's blood froze. What kind of incident? Someone breached the perimeter, got within 50 feet of the main entrance before security intercepted. He ran, but he left something. What? A children's music box. It plays Somewhere Over the Rainbows, and there's a note. What does it say? Marcus's voice was grim. "Time's running out. I'm coming for what's mine." The carousel music suddenly seemed ominous. The zoo crowds felt threatening. Alexander pulled the children close. "We're going home. Now." "Is something wrong?" Lily asked, reading his face. He wouldn't lie to her, couldn't. Vincent was at the house. He's getting bolder. Lily's hand found Emma's. Emma found Noah's, a chain of protection, of love, of fear. "What do we do?" Lily whispered. "We fight. We stay strong, and we trust that good wins." But as they drove back through Manhattan, Alexander wasn't sure anymore. Because Vincent Moretti was done playing games. The end game had begun. Detective Martinez came at dawn, her face grave. She brought someone unexpected. An elderly woman in a wheelchair, Asian, frail, but with sharp, intelligent eyes. "Mr. Sterling, children, this is Rose Lynn. Victoria's mother. Lily, Emma, Noah. This is your grandmother." The room exploded. Lily went white. The twins stared. Alexander stood frozen. "That's impossible," he managed. "The record said Victoria's parents died in 2001. "My husband did," Rose said softly, her voice heavily accented. "I didn't. I've been in a nursing home in San Francisco. The FBI told me I was dead. Fake death certificate, new identity, to protect me from the Morettis." Lily stumbled forward. "Grandma?" "Lily girl." Rose opened her arms, tears streaming. "My little songbird, I thought you were all gone. They told me the fire took everyone." The children rushed to her. Emma and Noah didn't remember, but Lily was sobbing, clutching this woman like a lifeline. "The FBI lied to us both," Martinez explained. "They told Rose everyone died. They told the children they had no family. It was supposed to keep everyone safe, scattered. But after Vincent started making moves, we dug deeper. Found Rose in a care facility under an assumed name." Alexander's mind raced. "This changes everything. Family placement takes priority over you?" "Yes." Rose looked at him, and Alexander felt his world crumbling. "But Detective Martinez told me what you've done, how you've protected them, loved them. Mrs. Lynn, Rose, please." She gestured to the sofa. "Sit. We need to talk." What came next shocked everyone. I can't take them, Rose said quietly. I'm 73 in a wheelchair living on government assistance. I have diabetes, heart problems. I barely take care of myself. Her voice broke. I love my grandchildren. I've mourned them every day for 3 years. But I can't give them what they need. Grandma, no, Lily protested. We can help you, we can... Baby, listen, your mother's last call to me the night before the fire. She said if anything happened, she wanted you raised with love, with opportunity, with music. She'd want you with Mr. Sterling. But your family, Emma said, not understanding. Yes, and family means wanting what's best for you, even when it hurts. Rose looked at Alexander. Can you promise me something? Anything. Let me be in their lives, not as guardian but as grandmother. Visits, calls, holidays. Let them know where they come from. Of course, always. Rose reached for Lily's hand. Then I'm going to tell the court I support this adoption, that you should be their father, because you already are, in every way that matters. But Martinez had more to reveal. There's something else. Rose, tell them. The old woman's face darkened. The Morettis, they're worse than you know. Victoria didn't just testify about money laundering. She witnessed a murder. Marco Moretti killed a man named David Walsh, a union organizer who wouldn't cooperate. Victoria saw it happen backstage at the Opera House. That's why they want revenge so badly. She could have put Marco away for life if the murder charge had stuck. Why didn't it? Alexander asked. No body. They made it disappear. Without physical evidence, the murder charge was dropped. Marco only got 5 years for the financial crimes. Rose's hands shook. But Vincent knows Victoria saw it. He's not just finishing his brother's revenge. He's eliminating the last witness, the children who might have heard something, who might remember something. But we don't remember anything, Noah said, frightened. Vincent doesn't know that. He can't risk it. Martinez leaned forward. Which brings us to why I'm really here. We have a plan to end this, but it's dangerous. And it requires bait. Alexander's stomach dropped. Absolutely not. Hear me out. Vincent is watching this house. He's waiting for an opportunity, so we give him one. A fake opening. We make him think the children are vulnerable. When he makes his move, we take him down. You want to use children as bait? We'd have protection. Sharpshooters, tactical teams, FBI backup. No, not happening. Alexander, Rose interrupted, sometimes the only way to end the nightmare is to face it, not with their lives at risk. Lily spoke up, her voice steady despite her fear. What if we do it? Lily, he's not going to stop, ever. He'll wait until we're older, until we think we're safe. Then he'll come. I won't live like that. Emma and Noah won't live like that. Alexander looked at this brave, impossible child, then at Martinez, then at the security feeds showing his fortress of a home, and he made the hardest decision of his life. Tell me the plan. The plan was simple. Too simple, which terrified Alexander. Saturday afternoon, the family would attend a public event, a children's concert at Lincoln Center, planned for weeks, heavily publicized, perfect target. Security would appear light, just Marcus and 2 visible guards. In reality, 40 undercover agents would be positioned throughout the venue. Sharpshooters on rooftops, tactical teams in vans. The children would wear tracking devices disguised as jewelry. Vincent will see this as his chance, Martinez explained. Public place, seeming vulnerability. He'll make his move. We'll be ready. But Alexander had his own plan, a backup they didn't know about. Thursday night, he sat the children down. I need you to understand something. If anything goes wrong, Marcus has instructions. He gets you out, gets you to Rose, gets you safe, no matter what happens to me. Alexander, Lily started. No, listen, I'm not your biological father, but I'm going to be your legal one. And fathers protect their children, always, even if it costs everything. Emma climbed into his lap. You're not going to die, right? He held her tight, breathing in her little girl's smell of shampoo and innocence. I'm going to do everything I can to come home to you." That night, he couldn't sleep. He walked the mansion, memorizing every corner. His grandfather had built this house in 1947. Alexander had grown up here, lonely and isolated. Now it was full of laughter, of chaos, of life. He found Lily in the music room again, at the piano. "Practicing?" he asked, saying goodbye just in case. "Lily, I know you think this is all going to work out, but I've learned nothing is guaranteed." She played a soft melody, something he didn't recognize. "My mother wrote this. She never published it. Called it My 3 Stars. One phrase for each of us. The music was beautiful, haunting, sad but hopeful." "She'd be proud of you," Alexander said. "Would she? I got them into this. If I hadn't been singing on the street that day, then you'd all still be starving in that apartment. Emma would still be sick. Noah would still have that ear infection, and I'd still be empty." He sat beside her. "Lily, you gave me a reason to be better, to be more. That's a gift, even if it gets you killed. Even then, because these last 2 months have been the best of my life." She leaned against him, this fierce little warrior carrying too much weight. "I'm scared," she admitted. "Me too. But we're scared together. That makes us stronger." Saturday arrived too fast. They dressed in normal clothes. Jeans, sweaters, nothing that screamed wealth. The children were quiet, understanding the gravity. Martinez met them at the car. "Security is in place. Vincent hasn't moved yet, but we know he's in the city. He'll show." The drive to Lincoln Center felt eternal. Alexander held Emma's hand on one side, Noah's on the other. Lily sat across from him, brave face firmly in place. "Whatever happens," Alexander said, "I love you 3. That's real. That's forever." "We love you too," they said in unison. Lincoln Center was crowded, families everywhere, children excited for the performance. The normalcy felt surreal. They took their seats, front section easy to spot. Marcus positioned himself nearby. But Alexander's eyes were everywhere, searching for the threat. The orchestra began tuning, children settled, the lights dimmed, and then Alexander saw him, Vincent Moretti, dressed as an usher, moving down the aisle. He'd bleached his hair, wore glasses, but Alexander recognized the walk, the predatory grace. He was heading straight for them. Alexander's hand went to his phone, ready to signal Martinez. But Vincent stopped 2 rows behind them, sat down, did nothing, just watched. The concert began. Beautiful music, children's laughter. But Alexander couldn't focus. Vincent was behind them, close enough to touch. Why wasn't he moving? What was he waiting for? Intermission came. People stood, headed to the lobby. Vincent stood too. "Now," Alexander whispered into his mic. FBI agents closed in from 4 directions, but Vincent smiled and pressed a button on his phone. The fire alarm screamed to life. Chaos erupted. People panicked, rushing for exits. In seconds, the tactical teams lost their positioning. The crowd became a weapon, pushing, shoving, separating families. Alexander grabbed Emma and Noah. Marcus grabbed Lily. But the crush of bodies forced them apart. "Lily!" Alexander shouted. He saw her 20 feet away, Marcus pulling her toward an exit. She turned, reaching for him, and Vincent Moretti stepped between them, knife in hand. "Hello, little bird," he said softly. "Your mother sends her regards from hell." Everything happened at once. Marcus lunged. Vincent slashed. Lily screamed. FBI agents fired. But in the chaos, someone grabbed the twins from Alexander's arms, and when he spun around, they were gone, vanished into the panicked crowd. Emma and Noah were gone, and Vincent Moretti stood with his knife to Lily's throat, backing toward a side exit. "Come after me," he called to Alexander, "and she dies. Go after the twins and they disappear forever. Choose, billionaire, who do you save?" Then he was gone, dragging Lily with him, and Alexander stood frozen, blood roaring in his ears. He'd failed them, all of them. Alexander didn't freeze. He made the only choice possible. Marcus, find the twins. I'm going after Lily. He ran through the chaos, following Vincent's trail. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. I'm impressed you chose her, Vincent said. Come alone to the address I'm sending. 1 hour, bring cops, and she dies. Martinez appeared. We found the twins. 2 blocks away, abandoned car. They're safe. Vincent only wanted Lily. It was a diversion. He just called. Wants me alone. It's a trap, Alexander. I know, but I'm going anyway. He held up his phone, recording everything live to Patricia's server. Get your team ready. The warehouse in Red Hook was dark, cavernous. Vincent stood center, knife pressed to Lily's back. Let her go, Vincent. This is between us. Wrong. This is about everyone who destroyed my family. Victoria's testimony killed my brother. Now you all pay. Victoria was brave. She did what was right. She was a rat. These children are loose ends, witnesses, threats. They're innocent children. Lily spoke, voice steady despite terror. My mother told me courage is doing what's right even when you're scared. She faced you. She testified knowing you'd come because it was right. Alexander taught me I don't have to be alone anymore. Shut up. Now you both die. Red laser sights appeared on Vincent's chest. FBI tactical team, positioned during his monologue. Drop the knife, Vincent. It's over. Vincent laughed bitterly. Either way, I'm dead. But she doesn't have to be, Alexander said. Let her go. For a moment something flickered in Vincent's eyes, then hardened. No, if I go down... Lily dropped and rolled. 3 years of street survival instinct. Alexander lunged. 3 shots fired. Vincent Moretti fell. Alexander caught Lily, pulling her close. I've got you, I've got you. Emma, Noah, safe, waiting for you. You came. You actually came. I made a promise. I keep my promises. 3 months later, Judge Reynolds' courtroom. Mr. Sterling, I've reviewed all reports. The children are thriving. You've exceeded every expectation, she smiled. I'm granting full adoption. Lily, Emma, and Noah are now legally Sterling. Emma squealed. Noah cheered. Lily cried happy tears. Rose waited outside, now living in the mansion's ground floor. Thank you for giving me back my family. That evening they celebrated. Mrs. Chen cooked a feast. Marcus brought sparkling cider, the house filled with laughter and music. Before bed, Alexander found Lily at the piano playing her mother's song. 3 stars, she said. Emma, Noah, and me. But now we have a 4th star, you. Forever, he promised. She smiled. You kept your promise. You heard me sing an impossible song and changed our whole world. You're our 4th star. Forever. He hugged her tight. This brave child who'd saved her siblings and saved him too. Outside, snow began falling. Emma and Noah pressed faces to windows, delighted. Lily played her mother's song, adding a 4th phrase, something hopeful, something bright. Rose hummed along, remembering her daughter. Mrs. Chen wiped tears, Marcus smiled, and Alexander Sterling, billionaire guardian father, realized he finally had everything that mattered. His family, safe, together, forever, just like he'd promised.